Little update on my latest 1350 build and doing a Kelvin version in TOS Era type. Got my BC deck set up now. I've put my photon torpedo launchers on the top. You see that in the Franz Joseph blueprints. And I've got my floodlight mounted on the front of this. I've also kit bashed from a USS aircraft carrier. A USS, that sounded good. An aircraft carrier kit that I've got, just adding a little detail to the BC deck there. See, I've also drilled a hole for a nav or strobe to put on top of the turbo shaft. I've also put two light holes there that I'm going to stick this piece into. This usually goes on the rear section of the hangar bay in those three spots, but I've got a bunch of these extra, so I'm going to put two right there just to kind of make the BC deck snap out a little bit more. I've also started bashing the impulse engines. I did my Hermes build like this, and so I'm going to do it again. You can see I've got the wire mesh back in there, and all I did was take some styrene tubing and fill it right into the holes that were pre-existing. I didn't have to do any extra work to that at all. And I'm going to be adding some more pieces out here externally to kind of make that pop out a little bit more. I think I've still got the same pieces I used with my Hermes. You can see I've drilled out, or I've cut out all these spare floodlight elements to put on the saucer. And you see I've got this circle drilled on this piece of styrene. And this is type 9060 6/100ths of an inch styrene, because when you flip this secondary hull so that you can put the hangar deck back in there, there's going to have to be a little bit of a gap to make it level. So I'm going to cut out that disc and make a ring for myself so that I can fill in that gap to give it some better stability, because you see that it's angled downward, and when you flip the deck over, it's going to be pointing upwards, and you need to bring it down so that it's not doing that. You see I've put in the travel pod bays, and I've put in these corrugated sections. I don't like the look of that right now. I thought having those ribs on the inside would give it enough curve, but it's not. So I'm going to pop those back off again, and I'm going to put a cross beam, maybe two cross beams of some smaller styrene tubing to help curve it some more, because obviously those ribs were not enough. So there's the latest on what I've got going right now. Oh, one last thing. Drilling out the holes at the tractor bay section. I guess that's what this is for the hangar bay. I've also drilled out a couple of extra strobe holes to just make it more dynamic. And notice that in that centerpiece, instead of carving that all out, I'm just going to have 3 pinpoint lights there instead. I did that on one of my other builds. I forget which one. It might have been for my son's ship. And I've got to get the hangar deck put together here too. And I've got one clear bridge to make use of out of all my other ones. So I'll get all that put together here. I still got some other ideas I want to do on the BC deck, but I'm not sure what I'll do with that. But there she is. Latest update. Thanks.